Peace Queen. It's Melissa Crawford of thequeencode.com, and the message today is part 8 in the Queen Ascension series. So we're almost halfway through this series, and if you haven't seen the first 7 videos, no worries. You can go back and watch those in your spare time in no particular order, but I do encourage you to at least watch video 1 because that's the video where I give the foundation and the backdrop for why I'm doing the series. But just to do a quick recap here, Queen Ascension is all about Queens Rising. And that is the energy that we're in right now. That is the season that we're in right now like never before. You know, everything, all the other years just seem to be kind of leading up to what we're going through right now. And all over the planet, women can feel it. They can feel the energy. They're ready to go higher. They're ready to step into another dimension. And you know, again, it's not just like stepping into another level, but they're ready to step into another dimension. And so that's what this series is about, because as you're on that royal path, up leveling to the next dimension, that's like another world. And because it's so different, new things are being done in a new way, it is very easy to feel overwhelmed. It can be a very painful place. It can be very uncomfortable, very unfamiliar. And many times we think that we're going through this alone, the growing pains. We think that we're going through it alone. And so what this series is about is not only giving you some clarity about the path, but also to let you know you're not going through this alone. This is actually a global shift right now that's happening. And not only do I want to give you some clarity, I also want to give you some distinction so that you can make a choice, because we're at a point where you can no longer ride the middle. You can no longer have one foot in and one foot out. And it's really that, you know, kind of riding the fence, which is causing a lot of pain anyway. We're being asked to step fully over into a new dimension. And so right now, currently on this planet, we are in what is called the third dimension. We're in the third dimension, up leveling as a planet to the fourth dimension. Now, the third dimension is characterized as, you know, the solar plexus, get it done, fire energy, conquer, achieve. You know, it's a very masculine energy, and it's a very good energy. But when it's out of order, when it's out of balance, it can lead to chaos and fear and limitation and everything that you've seen right now on this planet as we are right now. It's like we're almost at the edge of destruction. You turn on the news and there are wars and, you know, all of this strife and limitation and poverty and lack and all of that. And so, you know, even though we've gotten some great things out of the third dimension, like, you know, inventions and innovations, and we've achieved a lot, it is time for us to up level, because at the state that we're in, this is really like hell on earth whenever you really look at what's going on around you. But now we're up leveling to the fourth dimension, which is really the age of heart. And with the fourth dimension rising comes greater peace and fulfillment. And, you know, all of a sudden, so many people want to know, why am I really here? People are beginning to awaken. It's a great awakening. It's the age of femininity, peace, flow, abundance, greater wealth. We're getting back to that truth that all things are possible. Expansion, integration. We're taking the good that we've learned in the last dimension, but we're up leveling like we've never have before. And so the fourth dimension energy is really like heaven on earth. There is no lack. There is no limitation. We're starting to realize that, you know, the only thing that's really holding us back is ourselves. There is no irrational fear. We're starting to come back to the power within us, instead of like in the third dimension thinking that the power existed outside of us. So the fourth dimension is all about going within. It's all about getting back to that natural elevated state. So in this series, I'm actually giving you a clear distinction between the third dimension queen and the fourth dimension queen, so that you can make a choice. Do you want to stay back in this old world, this stagnation, this lack, this limitation, or do you want to up level to reign as the queen that you're called to be? And so here we are in part 8. And I actually want to start part 8 off by recapping something that I said in part 7, last week's message. And in part 7, I talked about the blood moon rising. And if you're spiritually inclined or attuned, or you've been watching the news, you know that last Tuesday, early Tuesday morning, we actually were able to witness in the sky the moon turning red. Now, the blood moon rising, this is actually, something that's happened before, but it's actually one of 4 blood moons over the next year and a half. And anytime that there's an eclipse and a blood moon rising in the spiritual realm, it always means a time of great release. And so last week was a time of great release. And not only was it a time of great release, but, it was also the week of crucifixion. And so you have the blood moon rising, and you have the week of crucifixion at the same time. And if you were really attuned to that energy, then last week was it probably felt like hell for you. It was probably very painful because you were being stripped of a lot of things that cannot go with you in this next dimension. And I can tell you personally, for me, I had several breakdowns. And I remember starting off the week, everything was fine. But it was something that happened after Tuesday, and it was like my entire world was just turned upside down. Things that I thought was safe and secure, stuff was just being ripped out of my life. And as I was going through that, I remember, just really at first feeling almost kind of sorry for myself, and I almost felt like giving up on some things. But then I remembered that anytime you have a great transformation, there's always some things that have to be taken out of your life in order for you to ascend to the next level. And it's interesting because at the same time I had this realization, I actually found a Facebook post that I posted a couple weeks before that I read, and it totally put things in perspective, and I want to share it with you. It's here where I say, Queen, when a good thing that you've been depending on is taken away from you, it's usually a sign that it's time to make some deep inner changes. Something new is trying to come through, but before the new can come through, you have to become the new. You're being asked to take a deep look inward and change something that's been holding you back a long time. It happens to the best of us. It's Queen initiation. You can walk through the fire, or you can linger in misery. You decide how long it takes to get to the other side. Now, little did I know when I wrote that and posted it on Facebook, a little while ago, that it would actually be something that would help liberate me at that season last week. But as I'm thinking about that, that's exactly what it is. It's Queen initiation, and this is that time. Like I said, last week was about crucifixion, about being willing to die to some things so that the new you can come forth. And so in terms of week 8, the 3D and the 4D queen, the 3D queen is the queen that when she's going through Queen initiation, she is like, oh, woe is me. She thinks that there's something wrong. She thinks that she's being punished for something that she's done. She is kind of lingering in her misery. And as a result, she feels stuck. And so she's just kind of wiped out there. But the 4D queen is a woman that walks through the fire. She goes through the process. She's willing to go through that Queen initiation. She's willing to go through that process, knowing that she's going to come out better on the other side. But, the 3D queen, she always focuses on what she's lost, right? But the 4D queen, she sees what she's losing. But she knows that the only reason why she's losing that is because there's something bigger that's coming through the pipeline. The 3D queen thinks of or has the consciousness of God as a punisher. The 4D queen has a consciousness of God as a perfecter. So going from God the punisher to God the perfecter, that there are some things that need to be upgraded in you. And so when you lose, it's not a bad thing. It's just that there's something else that has to go so that something else can come through. There's something else that has to die so that something else can live. So last week was, again, the week of crucifixion. And all last week, actually, the week before last week, I kept hearing in spirit, in my meditation time and in my prayer time, I kept hearing, get naked. I need you to just get naked. Be willing to be stripped. I need more of you. And I kept hearing that over and over and over again. And then I realized last week that that's really what it takes. You know, if you went through hell last week, you were being stripped naked. And we have to be stripped naked because in this next level, you know, whether you're a queen like myself who's already living in 4D, but again, you know, it's not just about, you know, getting to a level where you feel like you've arrived. We're all being called to a higher level and dimension. So even if you're already in 4D like myself, sometimes I tip back to 3D. But in this season, we're being called to fully cross over. There can be no more 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And that word fully is very important because when we fully cross over, when we fully allow ourselves to be stripped and get naked at that new level, when that door behind us is closed forever, we are given new attire. Not only do we feel different, but we look different. And as I was thinking about this, it actually came up, one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, where Jesus actually talks about, he's actually talking to the people in the book of Revelations that are lukewarm, you know, kind of in, kind of out. Sometimes they're doing great, and there's nothing wrong with tipping back, but like I said, you know, it's really about crossing over fully. And in Revelations 3:18, and this is actually the Message version of it, he says, here's what I want you to do. Buy your gold from me, gold that's been through the refiner's fire. Then you'll be rich. Buy your clothes from me, clothes designed in heaven. You've gone around half naked long enough. And he goes on to say a lot more, but you know, that's exactly what this time is about. It really is about just being clothed in a newness. And so again, Queen, where are you? Are you lingering back in the week of crucifixion? Or are you coming out of that into this week, which is the week of resurrection, which is the week of, you know, beginning to step into an even higher newness? We're being upgraded all the time because there's something big coming. So which queen are you? Are you the 3D queen that's going to linger back there? Are you the 4D queen that's crossing over into a new way of being, a new consciousness? You hear people talk all the time about the rapture. And I'm the first one to tell you, I'm not a very religious person at all. You know, I believe in truth and power. But, you know, I grew up hearing a lot about the rapture, the rapture, the rapture. And there are a lot of things that we take literally. And it's time for us to get back to the understanding that the truth is in the essence. You know, it's time for us to get back to that place where we're not just worshiping in form, but in feeling. And so you hear a lot about the rapture, the rapture, the rapture, not realizing that that time is actually right now. But we're not going anywhere. We're still here. But when you up level to another state of consciousness, that is literally like another world. It's like being swooped up when you immediately make that decision. Things are different. You walk different. You talk different. And so that's the time that we're in. And so you have to make a decision. You can't be on the fence anymore. And so in this week of resurrection, are you going to surrender to this process? I'll tell you, you know, yesterday on Easter, I actually posted something else to Facebook that just came pouring out of me. And I want to share that with you too as well. You know, the post was, again, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, I said, Queen, the way up is down. Before you rise fully to the next dimension of consciousness, you must be stripped bare of everything that cannot go with you into this new realm. Before you are fully clothed in your divine glory, you will be stripped naked of anything that hides the truth of who you are. Right now, we are in the middle of two of the holiest weeks in the year. Last week was the week of crucifixion. The blood moon manifested on Tuesday, and with it came a powerful energy of releasing everything that no longer serves us. Outdated mindsets, I felt that one. Habits, relationships, actions, etc. If you could feel the energy last week, it was, a painful, uncomfortable, and uncertain week for you. At times, it may have felt like hell on earth. But today starts the week of resurrection. Whatever you think you lost last week is being upgraded to divine status. Sometimes you have to lose the game. We descend to ascend, right? We descend to ascend. It is the royal path. Remember, it was in the bowels of hell that Jesus reclaimed the keys to the kingdom. You have to be willing, Queen, to die to live. You have to be willing to to go underground in order to be positioned to rise like you never have before. That's the way of Christ. That's what it truly means to be Christ-like. I put here to embody the Christ consciousness, that next level consciousness, that higher way of being. That's what it truly means. On today, as you remember the messenger, don't forget the message. You are destined to do greater works. Allow the process. It is time. And Queen, I wanted to share that with you because the way it came down the pipelines, I really could not have said it any better. Allow the process. Allow this process. This is Queen initiation. Don't fall back and linger in your misery. That's so 3D. There's nothing happening that's wrong. You're just going through the refiner's fire, Queen. So again, make your choice, make your decision about where you choose to dwell right now while you still have the choice, okay? And if you are ready to not only allow the process, but be in the process, but if you need more of this kind of information to help you through this journey, I invite you to join the Royal Academy for Rising Queens. The Royal Academy for Rising Queens is a virtual online school for women who are emerging in consciousness, women like yourself who are ready to go to the next level, but you need to be trained as a leader. You need to be equipped as a leader. That's what the Royal Academy is all about. It's getting you ready, Queen, to step into a very powerful position. And our next class on May 9th is going to be just phenomenal. It's out the box. It is a behind the throne look at how I've managed to go from struggling waitress to actually building a very powerful business and empire. And I'm sharing that with you. I'm sharing with you all the ways that I'm able to manifest in ease, abundance, and flow, even as I'm going through my own up-leveling process, how I'm overcoming that. All the things that I would love to pour into you in this video, but it's been long enough. That's what I'm sharing with you on our next call for the Royal Academy for Rising Queens. So if you want to become a part of that sisterhood, all you simply have to do is go to www.readytoreign.com/royal. That website is either above me or below me. But again, it's readytoreign.com/royal. Go there, sign up, just be a part of this movement because this is our time. It is time. We cannot hold back any longer, and I want to get you ready, okay? So again, go to www.readytoreign.com/royal, and I'll be back next week with Queen Ascension Part 9. Stay tuned.